So, it is officially July. It is officially the month of some pretty big releases, including Superman and the Fantastic Four. So, why don't we just throw all that out the window for a second and just talk about Dexter instead? Because, the Resurrection season's coming out this month, so gotta get caught up and I gotta be ready for it. That way, whenever it actually finishes, I can review it without having to worry about reviewing the rest of these later. And yes, I am aware that I did not finish reviewing Reacher yet. I promise I will at some point, I just don't have the time right now. With that being said, however, this is a show that I've wanted to talk about for a while. It is one of the many shows I was introduced to by a family member, my mom specifically. And it is one of those shows that I immediately got hooked into pretty quickly, from its unique premise, to its characters, to its acting, to its very gritty tone, but also having this dark humor side. It's a little hard to really explain, but if you've seen this show, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, this is the first of a couple marathons of this month, and it's going to be probably the only one that's not related to animation, that's not Fantastic Four or Superman. So, and also since I already reviewed all the Superman movies up to this new one, I needed something to fill the time that wasn't just the other thing I'm already doing for Animation Station. Because I like having a bit of variety in my content, having things for both the younger audience to enjoy and for the adults to enjoy. And this one's definitely for the adults, because this show, it's MA, and a very strong MA at that. So, yep, this is going to be my adult marathon for this month, and I hope you guys enjoy. It is going to be a shorter one because it's only 10 days, but we're going to make the most of it. So, let's talk about Showtime's Dexter. The ups, the downs, the beginnings, the ends, and the sort of weird revival thing that's going on right now. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mr. Station. We're searching for anything and everything animation, including TV and movies, as well as especially horror shows, apparently. I am your host, Jackson Small, your local horror nut, and we are here to talk about the first season of Dexter, the big show from Showtime. A service I don't use, but Mom and I call it on reruns. This is a show that is definitely quite unique in its own ways from other crime shows. Not only because it is about blood spatter analysis, something that is more just a throwaway detail in most other crime shows like Law and Order or Bones or stuff like that, but also because we are literally following a serial killer. A serial killer hiding in plain sight. And seeing this character's evolution and how he became who he is genuinely fascinating. But he's only as fascinating as the cast that surrounds him, and the cast that surrounds this guy is really good. Some of the best characters I've seen in any crime show. They're full of character, they're full of different unique traits about each other, and none of them feel like just a throwaway carbon copy of a million other crime show cliche characters. These characters are likable, but also twisted in a very fascinating way. So, without further ado, let's talk about it, shall we? Here is my written review for Season 1 of Dexter. And I promise to keep these reviews spoiler-free. That way, you guys are not spoiled whenever you watch these. However, I am going to talk about certain things that happen in each season to try and have some new material to work with. So, I'm going to keep them mostly spoiler-free, but I am going to mention the big new stuff that happens. So, just be aware of that. It is spoiler-free, but I do talk about some big elements. Alright, let's begin. This is Season 1 of Dexter. I hope you enjoy. Yes, I know that I haven't even finished reviewing Reacher yet, but there's no time, and I have to keep moving forward so I don't fall behind. So it's time to begin a new venture and revisit one of my all-time favorite shows, Dexter. This is one of the many crime shows that I was introduced to by my mom over the years. and like her, I immediately got hooked on it. Everything from its unique premise, to its characters, to the adult writing, and especially the grisly, dark storytelling, was incredibly compelling to me. Then again, I'm a sick fuck, so take that for what you will. And I'm happy to say that season 1 holds up really well. I literally just finished watching it yesterday. Michael C. Hall is outstanding as Dexter Morgan. This is the role that made this guy's career. It's the role that continues to make this guy's career, and by the end, this is going to be his most iconic role. He is amazing as Dexter, not only as a lead character, but also as this character with this weird, twisted sense of duality. The storytelling is adult, but well thought out. It's not just like South Park, which just uses everything to cringe. Characters are compelling. I already went over that. Pacing is a great example of a slow burn done correctly. I've said this a couple times in a couple other reviews, but I'm going to say it correctly. Well, I'm going to say it again. This is how you do a slow burn correctly. There are a lot of shows and movies, for that matter, where they don't use slow burn pacing effectively. I'm looking at you, Attack on Titan. The Ice Truck Killer is horrific. This is the big bad of this first season, and yes, I'm allowed to talk about it because they mention it literally within the first 2 episodes of the show. So, free game. And I'm not going to say the big twist that happens with this character, but it's a twist that you will not see coming on your first watch. Trust me. The twists are excellent and genuinely shocking, while there are some very familiar beats in this story, because this is still a crime show. You still have to go through certain parts. Most of it is surprisingly unpredictable, and a lot of it you will be left wondering what the heck is even going on, which is what you want in a TV show to actually get you hooked in. If they gave you all the answers right away, there would be no reason to keep tuning in. So it makes sense to keep the twists frequent and shocking. The gore is decent, especially for a syndicated television series that's usually censored as all hell because of the FCC regulations. This is one of the big problems I have with crime shows. As much as I love them, they have to be censored and they can't show like the actual kills or anything like that because of the freaking FCC. And that is here, but it's not as bad as some other shows like Law and Order or Criminal Minds, for example, where you barely see anything. Here you get to see body parts, but you rarely see blood, and most of the kills are off-screen. It's a bummer, but if that's the way they had to do this to get the show to actually air without being censored to high hell, I'll take it. So, the gore is decent for a syndicated television series that did run on television. This is not a streaming show. This was back before streaming was even a thing. The humor is surprisingly pretty funny. This is actually a very funny show, despite all the dark, grisly subject matter. Like, whether it's Deborah and Dexter's bitchy back and forths with each other, or Dokes just being the most aggro dumbass you could possibly imagine. Like, the jokes in the show are actually really good. Or even sometimes just Dexter monologuing to himself is funny. Rewatchability is high. I have rewatched this show so many times, especially these first 4 seasons. And the finale is fantastic. It's a finale with a twist that you will not see coming. However, that doesn't mean that this show's perfect. There are some problems. First of all, and I'm going to say it again, I know I said it when I was reviewing Reacher, and I know I said it when I was reviewing Daredevil. 12 hours is ridiculous for a runtime of a show. Like, I'm so used to watching shows where the length of the episodes is no longer than a half hour. NCIS, Criminal Minds, Law and Order, you know their kin. So, getting into shows like Reacher, like Daredevil, and like Dexter, it comes with that one nagging thing that it is going to take a long time to finish. So, if you want to binge this show, you better buckle the fuck down and make sure that you have time to spare to get through all of it. Because if you have to stop right in the middle of it and come back later, you're going to be left confused. It's one of those shows that's best to watch in one long 12-hour binge. And this is going to be a complaint throughout all 8 seasons of this original series, even though from what I've heard, New Blood and Original Sin are only 10. So it's a little shorter there. Whether or not it makes those seasons better, I don't know. But what I do know is that an hour long per episode is still a bitch to get through no matter how good it is, because that's still a lot of time. And when you put it all together with a full total runtime of 12 hours, that can wear on you quick. So, yeah, the runtime is ridiculous. Some of the temporary villains don't have much character, which I'm sure was entirely intentional because, well, they're temporary villains. They're your villains of the week, if you will. And while there is decent gore, the kills themselves are off-screen, which is pretty disappointing. You know me, I'm a gore hound. I love seeing practical effects and crazy, gory shit. But for some reason in this show, it's just, it is really censored. Like, the kills are off-screen. You see body parts and you see blood, but the kills themselves are off-screen, even when Dexter executes all these criminals. It sucks, but again, if that's what they had to do to get around the regulations of television, I'm willing to deal with it. Regardless, though, in conclusion, this is still an excellent beginning and not hard to see why it lured in so many people. Dark, gritty, unique, funny, original, and very well written. Dexter Season 1 is more than worth the time to sink your blades into. Like, if you have not watched Dexter yet, start with this first season, see if it works for you, and if it does, keep going, and if not, you can stop there. You don't have to keep pushing forward if you're not interested right away. But, again, this is a 12-hour season, so make sure you have time to spare. And with all that said, my final verdict for Season 1 of Dexter is going to be a high and well-deserved, but still flawed, 8.5 out of 10. This is still a great first season of the show. This is still a great start to the show. And it's not hard to see why it hooked in so many people, including me and my mom. And that's mainly because her and I are crime show nuts. But this show's fun. It's dark. It is very adult. And yeah, there is a little bit of nudity. But get around all that, and you're in for a great watch that is fascinating, unique, and unlike any other crime show you will ever watch. Okay, so that is the first season. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And I'll see you guys next time when we tackle Dexter Season 2 and see if it continues this upward trajectory before the inevitable crash that I know happens in the final 2 seasons. See you next time. Excited for what comes up ahead. Hey, shall we ride?